A Pakistani and an Indian stood on the top two steps of the podium, arm on each other, and the world watched in awe. Things like these don't happen at the Olympics track and field, they shatter the stereotypes, spoil the narrative. Then again, Arshad Nadeem and Neeraj Chopra are born to do that for their respective countries. They were not just spear throwers, Chopra and Nadeem were launching India and Pakistan to places the countries had never been before. Nadeem, with an Olympic record throw of 92.97 meter, won Pakistan's first medal at the Olympics of any color in any sport since 1992. It was dominant gold. Chopra's best effort of 89.45 meter fetched him a silver, making him the first Indian to win gold and silver medals at the Olympics. The scenes that unfolded Thursday night here were in sharp contrast to the ones that followed the Tokyo Olympics. Back then, Nadeem was accused of moving around Chopra's javelin during the final. As Nadeem got rolled and targeted relentlessly, Chopra came to the rescue of his very good friend, requesting the propaganda be stopped. On the occasion, once the results were confirmed, the two friends embraced each other and wrapped their country's flags around their shoulders. The Stade de France was on its feet for a rare scene. For Chopra, it might not have been a gold medal, but it was history there nevertheless. He competed under pressure the whole night. Chopra had just one legal throw, but he never let it affect him. Even when Nadeem had stunned all with his massive effort in the second attempt at 8.947, the track steward summoned the eighth competitor for the second attempt. When Chopra walked to his mark, the conditions were ideal. The runway fast and hard. Julian Weber, the German world number 3, had remarked that the block leg could skid. Chopra had fouled in his first attempt, but if he was nervous, he didn't show. He never does. As he stood at his mark, Chopra gently exhaled. He slapped the javelin gently and paused, thinking only one thing: don't foul. The crowd was still buzzing with Nadeem's Olympic record throw. Disco lights flashed in the stands and the DJ played Desi Boys. Harry Potter had his vein has Harmanpreet Singh. Before penalty corners, India's coach would whisper something in the ear of his captain, who would then sprint to the top of the Spanish D. From here, he had wheeled his stick in a semicircular motion to find a hole in the defense and slowed the ball into the goal twice in 3 minutes. Harmanpreet's twin strikes, which made him to the Paris Olympics highest scorer with 10 goals, helped India script a confident comeback to beat Spain by 2-1 and record their second straight podium finish at the Olympics. The bronze won after being made to work very hard under a harsh Parisian sun by a resilient Spanish side that defended tight and kept coming to them, was celebrated with wild scenes on the pitch. Defender Sumit, who blocked everything that came down the left flank, leaped in the air and punched the air. As a young hockey player, the 27-year-old dreamt of sitting in an aeroplane, but he supplemented his family's income by washing utensils at a dhaba in Murthal, Haryana. He never gave up and made a promise to himself: his first flight would be when he travels to play for India. Domestically, his teammates would fly to different cities. Sumit spent nights on train. His maiden flight came in 2014. A Nobel laureate, Professor Muhammad Yunus, was sworn in as the head of the interim government in Bangladesh Thursday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his best wishes to Yunus and urged him to ensure the safety and protection of Hindus and all other minority communities who have come under attack following the ouster of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on August 5. His direct reference to safety of Hindus and other minorities in Bangladesh underlines Delhi's expectations from him. Union Minority Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju, who introduced the Waqf Amendment Bill in Lok Sabha Thursday, said there was no provision in the 1995 Waqf Act to challenge or review the order or judgment of the tribunal. Now a provision was being made for verdicts to be challenged at higher courts. The minister said, in the existing law amended, a case goes to the tribunal, which either sits on it or gives a ruling that cannot be reviewed in any court. Is that right in a democracy? No law can become a super law under our constitution, but the Waqf Act 1995 acted like that, he said, hitting out at the opposition. He said, because you could not do it, we had to bring these amendments. Some people have captured Waqf board and this bill has been brought to give justice to ordinary Muslims, he said. He claimed that many leaders in the opposition had privately told him that the state Waqf boards had turned into a mafia. I won't take their names and destroy their political careers, Rizuzu said. He also faulted the present act for having no law of limitations, adding that if someone said that long back his ancestors used to read the namaz on a piece of the land, that land would be made Waqf property. In the last year alone, Rizuzu said 194 complaints were received about encroachment or illegal transfer of Waqf land. Should Bohras, Ahmadiyyas and Aga Khanians not be heard because their population is low? Privately, Muslim MPs also told me that MP mafias are controlling the Waqf board, he said. He also cited complaints received regarding existing Waqf board in Mumbai. A developed project got stalled because someone complained about the land being Waqf property in Tamil Nadu. A 1500-year-old village was declared Waqf property. The Surat Municipal Corporation office was declared Waqf property. And in Karnataka, 29,000 acres of Waqf land was diverted for commercial purposes. By his own admission, he was a communist comprising with capitalism. His comrades in the CPI, especially the conservative and rigid aparthics of AKG Bhavan in Delhi and allies in the West Bengal left front, believed he was deviating from the party ideology, but Buddha Saheb Bhattacharjee was a realist who wanted to rebrand the left and marry Marxist theory with market reality. His keenness to put his pragmatic ideas into practice, he once called the crippling shutdowns enforced in the state by leftist trade unions as immortal, put him on collision course with his comrades in Delhi and on Alauddin Street, the CPI's headquarters in Delhi. But it earned the poet, playwright and former chief minister Admire Southside, who linked him to China's great communist modernizer, this. Making a special mention of inclusivity and innovation in New Zealand's educational system, President Draupadi Murmu Thursday said education remains one of the top service exports of New Zealand. She was addressing New Zealand and International Education Conference in Wellington, where India is a country of honor this year. On the second leg of her three-nation visit, Murmu arrived in New Zealand Wednesday, where she was received by Governor-General Dame Kindi with the traditional ceremony and accorded Royal Guard of Honor Thursday morning. The leaders discussed cooperation across various sectors, read a statement from Rashtrapati Bhavan, adding they agreed on the need to continue efforts to widen the scope of India-New Zealand economic relationships through trade and businesses. At the education conference, the President also mentioned the NEP implemented in India recently, adding that many Indian students are gaining access to quality education at institutions across New Zealand. In 21st century India, our education system plays a significant role. The country has produced leaders in diverse fields who are contributing to India but also around the world, she said. Highlighting importance of education, Murmu said, education has always been close to my heart. I have seen and experienced first-hand and transformative power of education. Education is not just an individual endeavor but also a vehicle for social change and nation building. Around 8,000 Indian students are pursuing various courses in the country, making it the second largest group of international students there. New Zealand PM Christopher Luxon later called on President Murmu and the two held discussions on issues ranging from deepening of cultural ties to commitment for regional and global security. The President remarked that the two countries have been working together to address challenges such as climate change and international peace and security. A boost to India-New Zealand and partnership, President Draupadi Murmu held discussions with PM of New Zealand. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to enhancing bilateral ties, especially in education, trade and culture. The Ministry of External Affairs posted. Governor General Kiro and President Murmu also share a common interest and experience in the field of education, said the President's office. President Murmu said there is a renewed momentum in our bilateral relations generated by high-level contacts and increased engagement across a range of sectors. Governor General Dame Kiro hailed President Mumu for her commitment and initiative for uplifting of all sections of society, it said. A question about his income left Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav miffed on Thursday. Yadav was speaking at an event Swdesh Conclave 2024 organized by a news channel at Vigyan Bhavan when a member in the audience asked him about the change in his family's income during his political career. You want to know my income? कि मेरी इनकम पहले क्या थी और आज क्या है? मैं 20 साल से ज़्यादा CBI की जांच में रहा हूँ. I have been under CBI inquiry for more than 20 years. So if you want to check my balance sheet, go to CBI office, go to income office tax. Ask about the income of that person too who has been saying that he will live with his bag. Parties across the Valley's political spectrum were on the same page as CEC Rajiv Kumar and election commissioners Gyanesh Kumar and SS Sandhu began their 3-day tour of J&K from Srinagar Thursday. The ECI team is in Srinagar to review poll preparedness as assembly elections have not been held in the UT since 2014, with J&K without representation in its legislative assembly since June 2018. All parties have been pushing for restoration of democracy, a demand they reiterated Thursday. The Supreme Court has asked for assembly polls to be held in J&K by September this year. During the day, the Elections Commissioner met representatives of registered political parties from the Valley, including the NC, PDP, BJP, Congress and BSP. NC's Provisional President Nasir Alam Wani led the party's 5-member team to meet the CEC at Sher-e-Kashmir International Conference Center. We have impressed upon them to conduct assembly polls here. Elections have not been held for the last 10 years and there is no elected government since 2018, Wani said. He said the EC delegation had visited J&K earlier too, but despite this, polls were not held. We told them this should not be the case every time. The NC delegation told the EC, a lieutenant governor, his advisor and a few bureaucrats cannot run J&K since there are several difficulties, developmental and security issues on the ground. These can be resolved through public representatives. What is the lesson to learn from Vinesh Phogat's nightmare? That the patriarchy will always get the last laugh. It's tempting to fall into the trap I recently did for a few hours after my favorite wrestler was disqualified, but in recent years many of us have understood that that is what the establishment may want you to believe. The reality is quite different. See the way Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump is unfolding in the US. I lost my courage, is all broken. I don't have any more strength now, Vinesh said the next day, announcing her retirement. But for us, on and off the mat, Vinesh will always be undefeated, whether in the Paris Olympics against Yuki Susaki, the world's best wrestler in her weight category, a woman unused to failure, or when pitted against former Wrestling Federation of India Chief Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, a man with so much political clout that a macho government was afraid to hold him accountable for alleged sexual harassment. Vinay has always been our winner. Abhinav Bindra tweeted that thanks to Phogat, the nation was unitedly learning that it means to never lose the fight in us. While Susaki spent all her time training for Paris, Phogat was in a desperate fight for justice. The patriarchy represented here by the state and sporting official Don drove her and her fellow decorated wrestlers to protest on the streets for 40 days. Her victory and the disqualification felt deeply personal. In 2020, I won a prolonged court battle against a former minister in the Narendra Modi government. This week, when Phogat started acing her matches, I feel like I had won again. That her success was vindication over everything this country puts in.